Hello friends, we are learning here the microbiological class which we are learning the bacterial cell structure, function and all about the small microbial world of bacteria. So today we are going to learn about the bacterial cell from a typical plant or animal cells in a term of cell shape, arrangement, size and cell structure. So here we going to discuss about the size and shape of bacteria which you cannot see without microscope or naked eyes. So we going to discuss about the which shape the microbacteria having or which type of arrangement the cell having and it all about its size. So here we are going to discuss about shape, arrangement and size of the bacteria. It might be expected that the bacterial cell being small and relatively simple would be uniform in a size and shape. So microbial word offers considerable variety in a terms of morphology. Morphology means the organism or the microorganism having various type of shape and structure. So the shape and structure which they are having, it's called its morphology or its structure. Okay, so it's called morphology, the study of shape and structure of bacteria. It's called its morphology. So two most common shape of bacteria are cocci and rods. So cocci are roughly spherical cells, means the organism or microbacteria having round shape, it's called cocci or coccus. If it is a single cell, then it's called cocci, or if it's there are multiple cells available, so it's called coccus. Okay, now another one is the singly or associated in a characteristic arrangement that can be useful in identification. So depending on their cell shape and structure, we going to identify the microorganism. So here is the term called diplococcus or diplococci, arise when the cocci divide and remain together to form a pair, means uh, like two cocci cell are present and form a diplococci structure. When form pairs, long chain cocci result when the cells in the genera of Streptococcus, Enterococcus and Lactococcus. So the species of Streptococcus, Enterococcus and Lactococcus bacteria having the long chain of cocci. Member of the genus Staphylococcus divide in the random planes to generate irregular grape-like clumps that having the clumps like structure. Division in a 2 or 3 planes can produce symmetrical cluster of cocci. Bacteria in the genus Micrococcus often divided into 2 planes to form square group of 4 cells called tetras. If the one single cocci arranged in a 4-way, so it's make a square group, it's called a tetras. In the genus Sarcina, cocci divide in a 3 planes producing cubical packet of 8 cells. So it's made up of 8 cocci cells. Now the another one is rod shaped bacteria. The bacteria having the structure like rod, it's called rod shaped bacteria. Bacillus megaterium is an example of bacteria with a rod shape. Rod sometimes called bacilli or bacillus. The organism which having rod shape is called bacilli or bacillus. Differs considerably in their length to weight ratio. Coccobacillus being so short and wide that they are resemble cocci. The shape of the rod often varies between species, may be flat, round shape or bifurcated. Although many rods occur singly, some remain together with the after division to form pairs or chains like Bacillus megaterium, Bacillus cereus, Bacillus subtilis. So here are some example and figure of bacteria and their shape. So here we can see in the first figure cocci in chain, which having the family of Streptococcus, and another figure is Staphylococcus aureus is the cocci shaped organism which are present in a cluster, means they are going to make a bunch like cells. Then the third figure is the Bacillus megaterium, rod shaped bacteria which are having not clusters but they make a long chain of rods. It's called Bacillus megaterium. It's a microscopical image of cocci and chain shaped organism. Now we going to discuss some more shape of bacteria like Vibrio cholerae, which cause main cause of the cholera, having comma shaped Vibrio, you can see in the figure. Then Clostridium jejuni spiral shaped bacteria, Streptomyces filamentous bacterium, some fungi which having fruiting bodies, and spirochetes having the spiral shape of bacteria which are present in our tooth tartar. Other cell shape and arrangement are also observed. Vibrions are comma shaped, spirilla are rigid spiral shaped cells. Many have tuft and flagella at one end or both ends. Some bacteria having the flagellal structure which are one end or also having a both ends, so they can easily move one to another place. So flagella is important for the motility of the organism. Then having spirochete are flexible spiral shaped bacteria. They have unique internal flagellal arrangement. These bacteria are distinguished in other ways and all belong to simple single phylum Spirochetes. The oval to pear-shaped member of the genus is Hypomicrobium. You can see in the figure Hypomicrobium, which have one side a bird, then hyphae, then another bird, and then another hyphae. So it's called Hypomicrobium. Okay. So Hypomicrobium produce a bud at the end of the long hyphae. Other bacteria is pelomorphic, being variable in the shape and lacking a single characteristic form. Pelomorphic bacteria means they can change their shape in a various ways. So some bacteria can be thought as multicellular, like actinomyces typically form a long filamentous called hyphae. So it's have long filament, it's called hyphae. You can see in the hypomicrobium figure, here is the bud present which are connected with the long hyphae. The hyphae may branch to produce a network called a mycelium, and in this sense they are similar to Eukaryotes filamentous fungi. Mycelium is basically seen in the fungi which you can easily see with the help of microscope. Many cyanobacteria, a group of photosynthetic bacteria, are also filamentous. Being filamentous allows some degree to differentiation among cells in a filament. For instance, some filamentous cyanobacteria which help in the photosynthesis with the bacteria which produce itself its own food. It's called a cyanobacteria, like green algae. Okay. Cyanobacteria form heterocyst within the filament. This specialized cell that carry out nitrogen fixation. So cyanobacteria it's help in the nitrogen fixation. Also it's fix the environmental nitrogen to produce its food with the help of photosynthesis process. The myxobacteria are a particular note. This bacteria sometimes aggregate to form complex structure called the fruiting bodies. Here you can see the fruiting bodies. Suboder Streptomycina and phylum Cyanobacteria myxococcals. Escherichia coli is an excellent representative of an average size of bacteria. This rod-shaped bacteria is 1.1 to 1.5 micrometer wide by 2 to 6 micrometer long. However, the size range of bacterial cell extends far beyond this average. Near the small end of the size continue are member of the genus Mycoplasma, which are in the shape of 0.3 micrometer in diameter. At the other end, the continue are bacteria such as Spirochete, which can reach 500 micrometer in length, and Cyanobacteria oscillatoria, which is about to 7 micrometer in diameter. The huge bacterium Epiloecium pfiselsoni lives in the intestine of brown sugarcane fish, grows large as 600 by 80 micrometer, a little smaller than a printed hyphen and clearly larger than the well-known eukaryotic Paramecium. And even larger bacteria, Thiomygrorrhea, has been discovered in ocean sediment. Thus, a few bacteria are much larger than average eukaryotic cell. So here we are discuss the size of bacteria from small to the larger microbacterium. The variety of size and shape exhibited by bacteria arise a fundamental. So it's all about the size and shape of bacteria, which you can count by the surface to volume ratio. It's the method to count or measure the surface of bacteria, because here by given data you can have the question, how can they measure the small organism which we cannot see even without the microscope? So we have, how can they measure the size of the bacteria? So you have the question, right? So here is the method which through we can not only see the bacteria with the help of microscope but also measure its size. It's called surface area to volume ratio. As the ratio increases, the uptake of nutrient and diffusion of these other molecules within the cell become more efficient, which in turn facilitate a rapid growth rate. So, as the organism are small in size, it's having the smaller surface to volume ratio, and if it's having a small surface, then it's have the higher ratio of nutrient uptakes and diffusion of other molecules. Now, a rod with the same volume as a coccus has higher surface volume ratio than does the coccus. This means that rod can have greater nutrient flux across its plasma membrane. So you can see here the approximate diameter and the organism. So if we count the surface volume ratio, the rod shaped organism are having the large surface to volume ratio, so it's easily for them to have nutrients by plasma membrane. However, the discovery of Epiloecium pfiselsoni demonstrates that the bacteria can be very large. For the bacteria to be large, they must have other characteristics that maximize their surface to volume ratio, or other size must be beneficial in some way. For instance, E. pfiselsoni has a highly convolute plasma membrane which increase its SV ratio. In addition, large cells are likely to be eaten by predatory protists. Cells that are filamentous, have prokaryote or oddly shaped, are less susceptible to predation. Okay, so for today it's all about the bacterial size and shape. Here we can see the various type of bacterial cells and its size and how it's going to be measured by the surface to volume ratio, and how the surface volume ratio is beneficial for the small microorganism which cannot seen without the microscope. So it's all about today. Thank you so much.